Welcome. You're listening to the Disney Twin Podcast, Episode 1.
Magic awakens.
Yes. We would like to welcome you today to our maiden episode.
Hi, everyone. This is Marianne.
And I'm Ariane, and welcome to the Disney Twin Podcast.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yay!
It's our first time doing this, so be kind, listeners.
And bear with us while we're trying to make sense of what we're doing and not sound ridiculously
Well, I
silly.
would make no guarantees. I usually sound ridiculously silly. But so we hope that you enjoy our podcast. Today we're going to be discussing, the whole podcast will discuss all things Disney and more. Tips for vacationing and talking about special events. We both have kids, so we can talk about traveling with kids.
And other exciting Disney topics. Yes.
So what's on tap for our maiden voyage today?
I thought today we would be answering some get to know you questions. Getting to know you.
Oh.
Sorry, we're also musical theater geeks too, so we'll add in some of those.
Really,
jokes.
what a combo, Disney and musical theater.
Woohoo!
Yes, you'll get to know probably more than you ever wanted to know about us in this podcast. So
Absolutely.
Yes, and it's Disney, so I will watch my language.
Yes, we'll try to. And then we just want to let you know that show notes can be found at our blog, which is thedisneytwins.wordpress.com.
I should also say we're not actually twins.
No, we're not.
No.
We were born in Hialeah.
Yes.
Back in the 70s, 80s.
80s for me.
Okay.
I was born in the 80s. I don't know about you. And by Hialeah, she means northern suburb of Miami.
Yes. And then we found our way to each other maybe about 10 years ago.
Yeah, through improv and music theater connections.
Yep.
And here we are.
Yep.
Married with kids later. You were married at the time. I was not married yet.
Yes. And we have my oldest is 5 and my youngest is 3 months.
And my only daughter right now is 2.5. Maybe one on the way. Stay tuned, listeners. Actually, no, there's not one on the way at the moment. But, conceptual plans for another child are in process.
Yay.
Yes, so because we just got her out of diapers. But that's TMI for our first podcast. All right, question 1. This is like those actor-to-actor questions.
Yes.
Except we haven't, don't expect Ben Cumberbatch and Tom Hiddleston to talk about their days at RADA or whatever.
No, like what were you thinking of during that scene?
And motivation in Coriolanus when they splattered you with never mind.
It's not inside the actor's studio.
No, certainly not. But I would like to know what they will ask when I get to heaven. Anyway, off topic. So what park was your first visit?
I'm assuming, Disney World, because I was...
You're old and you predate other parks.
Yes.
Sorry.
Epcot was not around when I was born. But no, I went to Disneyland. I was a year and a half. So Disney World was my first park experience.
So
the Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
Magic Kingdom here was your first. Mine also. Even though I am considerably younger than you.
Yes.
My first visit was at Magic Kingdom. Epcot didn't exist yet, but did soon after. So my first visit, I don't remember. I was little. I was like 4 months old.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was in 1979 when I went.
Mm-hmm. Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
And Jimmy Carter was president.
I was born in 81, and actually was right before the year Epcot opened in 82. So it wasn't my first visit, and I don't really remember other than seeing a lot of family pictures, but I was fortunate enough to be there opening weekend of Epcot with the shows. And actually I have on my iPod the opening, but the official grand opening of Epcot with the Disney narrator who used to do the Magical World of Disney voiceovers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was like, welcome to the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, which is the Epcot. You'll learn Disney facts if you don't know that already. That's the acronym that is Epcot.
It's
also,
not every paycheck comes out poor. Or what is every
I always knew every person comes out tired.
Yes, okay.
Which was the other one, yeah.
Every pocketbook comes out thinner. That's it.
There you go. Yeah. Or paycheck works too. Go Epcot. So, we were went as a kid. Funny enough, my first visit, born and raised in Miami, and I flew. My mom knew. I know.
It's only a 3-hour drive up the turnpike.
Yeah,
you
or
know,
a 30-minute flight. I mean, takes you longer to actually get to the airport in Miami traffic, go through
Well,
security.
especially now.
Yeah, now. I mean, in the
Especially,
80s, you know, if you could, you didn't even need a ticket. They just let random people on the plane back in the 80s.
Especially in Miami.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, you go Orlando? Okay, no problem. But yeah, so we flew. The now defunct Piedmont Airlines was a friend of my mom's was a stewardess. So I'm sorry, flight attendant. So first visit, yeah, again for me was would have been Christmas '81 was my first visit.
Very cool.
Yeah. Baby Bjorns had not been invented yet.
No. Poor mother.
She had all me around.
So what other Disney parks or places have you visited or experienced?
Oh, good. So, of course, we'll do a little overview. So there's the 4 Disney World parks, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, MGM was just called now.
Hollywood Studios,
Hollywood
which
Studios.
will change again in the next few months or a year or two.
Yeah, I just got over learning to say Hollywood Studios.
I still call Port Orleans Dixie Landings.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. We still called, and MGM, we short, because it's not short enough, we called it Muggum. So if you're ever at Disney and you see sort of a group of pasty people walking around going Muggum, that would be my family and I. So Muggum, Animal Kingdom, and then there are 2 water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, although you and I have both been to River Country.
Yes, which is now a sad. We should have a moment of silence for River Country.
We should. Well, I do get creeped out every time I see one of those top 10 abandoned amusement parks. And it's all #1 River Country, land of salmonella and E. coli and other things.
A little bacteria is good for the body.
Sorry. Sorry, anti-vaxxers. We're go to River Country and you'll never come back the same. Third eye and a tail. You don't need any of that. Other experiences. Disney Quest closed recently.
Yeah.
5 stories of video games.
Never did it.
Really?
Yeah, never did it.
I mean, it was kind of cool in that it had everything from classic arcades to the updated, like there was a virtual reality Pirates of the Caribbean.
To me, I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I would rather just go ride it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Well, you didn't meet my ex-boyfriend, so.
Oh, no.
Oh, actually, you did know my ex-boyfriend.
Oh, I did.
I think you did. Anyway, he works at Disney and will remain nameless for this podcast. But no, if you are a video game fan, it was
cool.
A
good place
It was
to
a
go.
cool place, yeah.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah,
that
sorry.
would be my husband.
But I have to say, it's. I'm sorry to see it go, but I've heard that good things are happening over at Disney Springs. Construction.
See, that's another one that I'm going to keep calling Downtown Disney for
forever.
for 20 years.
Well, and before that, it was called Lake Buena Vista.
Yes,
which still is the area.
Like Pleasure Island and like that whole thing. But you went to Disneyland in Paris.
I did. That was awesome. Probably one of my coolest Disney experiences. It was a very cold, rainy day, and being from Florida, that did not deter me at all. I mean, the cold was not great, but the rain, poncho, no problem. And it was awesome. One of the more unique things about Disneyland Paris is all of the Tomorrowland is Jules Verne themed, kind of steampunk.
Very cool.
Yeah, Space Mountain 2. Which is literally called Space Mountain 2. It goes
DEUX.
Well, no, it's just the number 2.
It's like, oh, okay.
But
it's like, is it like
Montagne l'Espace 2? But it goes upside down, which when you first sit in the car and the shoulder
goes over.
Yeah,
neat.
so it was a really cool experience. I'd love to go back. They have also a version of Hollywood Studios where the car show that exists in Florida came from. It's not as big, not nearly as big, so you can pretty much do both parks in one day if you're diligent about it. And a couple of different rides. Pinocchio's over there, and I know you said that's at Disneyland, California.
Yes.
Which we don't have at Disney World in Florida. So tell us about California, because I haven't been there.
We went for the first time last year. Well, it was my second trip, but as a family, we took everybody out. We went for the Disneyland Half Marathon last August, so in 2014. In
a Mini Cooper. She drives a Mini Cooper.
We flew. We flew there.
Okay.
I would not drive to California. Are you kidding? With with a kid and
I don't know how you drive to Florida I don't know how you drive in a Mini Cooper, period. But that's a subject for another
yes,
podcast.
So-
Sorry, Mini Cooper people.
So we fly out to California and have an amazing time. And at first I was really skeptical because I wasn't really sure how I was going to like the park. I mean, growing up at Disney World, you kind of get a mindset of what is going to be amazing and awesome and what's not. And I really didn't think that Disneyland was going to be able to hold its own to Disney World. And I was pleasantly surprised in a great way. And the rides that they have there are just really cool and just little differences, and I really enjoyed myself. And for the first time I think I felt the Disney magic.
I don't know, it was like something I had not felt in a very long time. I walked around with a map in my hand, and
Because we don't need maps anymore,
Right,
so it's not
exactly.
new and
yeah, it was
you
like
don't discover it.
it
the same
felt
way.
it felt familiar, but it was so different at the same time, and the people were so friendly out there, and I had a
That's
great time.
awesome.
And it was truly just an amazing experience. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, I'd love to go back to Disneyland Paris, just because I was there by myself. I was studying abroad at the time, so none of my colleagues wanted to go. So I was like, we were in Paris, downtown Paris, and it's very convenient. You hop on the subway takes you to the RER train, and it's all the way out the last stop, literally the gate of Disney. You pull up the train, public transportation, so for a couple of euro, you're out of the city.
Wow.
You get off, and it's bienvenue, and you just can walk right in. It's really cool, and definitely, I mean, there are lots of other wonderful things to see in Paris, but put Disneyland Paris on your list after you check off all the museums and fine dining and everything in the Eiffel Tower. Go see Disneyland Paris. Okay, so what's our next set of questions? Other parks, we did that.
Yep.
The last trip to Disney World. Mm-hmm. What's today?
Today
I was there last month for
this
food
is
and wine.
Monday. So I was there last Tuesday. So
less than a week ago.
6 days ago we were leaving.
You've got me beat. I was there last month for food and wine. Well, you were there for food and wine also.
Yes,
But
and the Wine and Dine half marathon, which we'll talk about because we do a lot of Run Disney races, so a lot of our trips are about Run Disney. So if you are interested in running Run Disney, we're definitely going to have
by
some
we,
stuff.
she means her.
Yeah.
Because if this were I don't run. Mama don't run. But I wine and dine, so I'm there for
There you
that
go.
part of it.
Yeah, but see, that's the pure motivation for running that.
But speaking of, and we'll do an episode all about Food and Wine Festival also, but a tip that we just discovered really in this experience this year is if you're a person who wants to go to Food and Wine, plan ahead and go early in the festival in the September, early October range because
Yes.
you experienced...
So we went this past weekend, which second to the last weekend, they still had, I guess what yesterday would be like their last weekend. They were all out of the passports. And
wow.
a lot of the merchandise was already gone. The gorgeous Dooney and Burke purse that I wanted to buy, but I'm kind of glad it wasn't there because
It's not, yeah.
yeah, I was like, oh,
Epcot, every pocketbook or whatever.
yeah, exactly. I don't know if I could have restrained myself from not buying this purse, but everything was gone. And I actually went up and asked for a pen, and the lady was like, I was like, wow, you're out of everything, even passports. And she was like, this is my last one. And I'm like, oh thank you. And I hid it in my pocket,
Oh,
I was
dear.
like guarded that thing with my life.
Yeah, because the first week they were handing them things out.
Yeah.
Handing them things. Listen to me. They were handing them things out like candy. Passports on every corner.
Yes, and the commemorative annual pass holder
Port wine glass, which having received one, I will tell you, thank you, Disney. It was very nice. We appreciate the free wine glass etched with the 20th anniversary logo. That being said, it's tiny. I'm not a wine drinker, but it's not for wine drinkers because it only holds about 2 drops, and then you're like, waiter, you hold it up. And the line, actually, the first weekend, my husband and I were there, and our daughter, we were there the first day, opening day of the festival. And the line to get the pass holder stamp was redonkulous.
Really?
Yeah, they were doing them. I know they changed the location because, as Disney does, they adapt. Just like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, they adapt. And they realized where they were doing the passes was not conducive to traffic because they had them at the opening, the one side of Interventions where the electric umbrella is.
Uh-huh.
except the line, because there was so much line, was across the main opening entrance to Epcot, where the
Oh,
pin station
yep.
is and the fountains, to the other side, and then they grouped you like you're waiting for New Year's Eve Times Square. They grouped people and they had it going down past the Starbucks.
Wow,
So
that's
because
a long
that line
line.
was completely blocking the main thoroughfare to the park, even though they had it blocked and they were sending people in shifts, they moved the entrance. So I don't know where it will be next year, but they always tend to do something nice for annual pass holders, and we can do an episode where we talk
Yes.
about pass holder
Yeah,
goodies.
especially since they've really updated the pass holder program.
Yes, you
most
have
recently.
to be a millionaire or rob a bank,
Yes.
or be willing to go in the middle of February when there's no one there.
Yes. In a weekday too.
On
you
a
know,
weekday,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
So if you have no children and you're free on a random
Or you just
Tuesday,
don't care about their education.
right, like us.
Yep.
Well, it's a different kind. It's called Epcot. There's cultural education.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
could definitely
of
go
course.
through. Yeah. Okay, so what is your? If we've stated, we were talking about this earlier. We've pretty much covered almost all of the resorts between
Yes.
the two of us.
Yes.
So what resorts have you not stayed at?
Polynesian, Saratoga Springs, and Art of Animation.
Yeah.
And we were joking earlier. I was saying, I was like, where I stayed at the Contemporary is no longer there. So is that invalid? Do I have to now stay there again? Because
You should anyway,
rooms-
because it's magnificent.
yeah, well, I hear, except the room rates are like.
Again, Epcot. I'm going to call that the Epcot principle now. Rule number 1 is don't go to Disney worrying about, because now with the magic
that's
bands,
true.
you don't even see the money
No,
leave.
into the final bill. Yes.
Yes.
No, we'll definitely have to talk about that too.
Oh yeah, the Art of Animation we have in common, which is their newest hotel, their value hotel,
And they've got family suites, which is very interesting. And I think they sleep up to 6. They have like a bedroom
nice.
and then like another room area that sleeps 4.
yes, and Art of Animation was previously going to be the early decades of the Pop Century Resort.
'Cause nothing says happening more than the 1910s or
Yeah.
the 1930s
Can you
with the Great Depression.
I don't know what the theme for the stairwells would have been. No stairwell. It would have just looked like a fire escape in a brownstone.
Yes.
And no elevators.
And then
for
how
the-
do you do the 20s? With the Tommy guns and
Maybe more of a Gatsby theme.
Oh,
that
maybe-
might
oh,
that
yeah.
might be nice.
yeah.
I don't think
not like the Great Movie Ride, right?
No, I don't think Disney would embrace the whole bootlegging aspect of the 20s either. But we are joking at being the Disney nerd twins that we are. So the Pop Century, if you haven't stayed there, is a resort where each building is themed by decades. And the existing hotel starts with the 50s. And so the stairwells are different objects like yo-yos and Rubik's
Yes.
Cubes and things like that.
And it goes through 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s, correct?
90s,
It goes
right.
up to the 90s?
I think so. Because zeros would be hard since they were planning initially
Right.
to have the early decades across this man-made lake.
And there was this bridge that would attach. It was like the Golden Years bridge that was
Century-
like
yeah,
something
something like-
Century Bridge. I think that's what
Century
it was
Bridge.
called. Century Bridge.
I would have called it Century Bridge.
And
but they didn't ask
and
me.
like and I don't know what happened after. I just know once they opened the first part of it, it kind of became like a ghost town over there, and it was it was almost like River Country in a way. It's
Without
kind of forgotten.
Without the E. coli.
Yeah. And then, of course, they decided to do Art of Animation. We haven't even gotten over there to go look at it or anything.
No, and right now, on today's date in 2015, it's a little expensive for a value resort, I think, because it's new, the mystique is there, and they can up.
I called
The price.
for Marathon Weekend. It was $336 a
Well,
night.
that's not value then.
No,
That negates,
no.
so
I don't think that's,
Interesting.
yes.
shame on you, Disney. Value should be,
Yep.
there should be a maximum range. But we will do a whole episode dedicated to, I don't know, a whole episode, but we'll do a bit dedicated
Yes.
to the DVC because my family and I are members of the Disney Vacation Club, which is great because it affords us to stay at some of the DVC only resorts. I haven't stayed at Old Key West, which was the original DVC resort, but we're going to stay there in April. So in April, that will no longer be the case. And I haven't stayed at Coronado Springs,
Mm-hmm.
which is a big convention site as well.
It's
That's okay.
It's just
You know, we stayed there. I think it was like the first month it opened, and
Tell us how you really feel. Adjectives are not coming to you for Coronado Springs.
we let's say our trip was, I think, 8 or 9 nights, and after 3, we went to the front desk and asked to be moved.
Really?
Yeah.
And then I haven't stayed at Caribbean Beach
And
either, or
yeah,
Caribbean Beach, if you will.
I try to really, I really want to try to stay positive, but you know, there are a lot of things, and Mary and I were talking about this when we decided about doing the, this podcast, and we wanted to be really honest with our opinions,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of things that Disney does great and wonderful with, and then there are some things that Disney kind of faults at, and I think the Caribbean Beach is one of those
was a misstep in there.
faults, and it's just not one trip that's been a misfault. It's been multiple trips because we've tried to give them second and third chances, and it's still not.
It's interesting because overall, and obviously because we're doing this podcast, we're huge Disney fans. But our families had little incidences here and there, and I will say for the most part, if you and having my mother-in-law helps. Because she's a crier.
Yeah.
So that-
As I've discovered Ainsley as the perfect 5-year-old angel that's like, oh, my favorite princess is Ariel. You're so pretty.
Oh, an upgrade for you, child.
Yes, exactly.
Have a magical day.
Thank you.
If you've had a bad Disney experience and you want something done to sort of rectify the experience, you just get my mother-in-law on the phone. The waterworks start. She tells you how this was her life's dream to take this trip. She leaves out the part that we go like 4 times a year, and that they've saved up for decades for this magical trip, and all of a sudden, free passes. I won't give out her name because I don't want the Disney people to be on to us.
No, yeah.
But I have to say, so there's 3 grades of resort: value, moderate, and deluxe, right?
Yes.
The luxury ones.
Yes, it's deluxe.
Yes. And then the DVC ones, they have a separate category, but most of the DVC resorts are part of main hotels. So
And they they range in price. Looking at the website right now, you've got the deluxe villas. They from $313 a night, which if you go on there and you put any date, you can definitely see prices larger than $313.
Oh, easily. I've stayed at the yacht club one night for a wedding, and I was telling Ariane earlier we split it 5 ways because it was $500 a night. So it still cost each of us $100 a night.
I'm shocked that was the price with fairy tale weddings, which is another thing because I got married at Disney, so we'll definitely be talking about fairy tale weddings. And I'm Marianne has got the
I'm
both of us.
yeah.
Well, we both have been talking about doing vow renewals there. So
Yeah, because we don't go to Disney enough, and they don't get enough of our money. And even, my husband, even when he was just my boyfriend, we would go around the monorail, and every time we would pass it, and look to the right is Disney's wedding pavilion, and I would go, which I heard men love. They love it when you're dating and you bring up weddings.
Yes.
They probably don't.
No.
But he married me anyway, bless him. So I would say my favorite, let me think about this. My favorite value resort is got to be Pop Century.
I would agree.
Yeah. It's a big resort. Disclaimer. It's a big place, so walking to the main sort of central area where the food and check-in is can be a little bit of a hike if you get the shaft and you're way out.
But let's be real here. You're going to Disney. You're going to walk
Walking
about
is part of it.
6 to 7, 8 miles a day anyway, which I think is funny because people are like, "Oh, I don't go to Disney to do like
The runs.
5Ks or 10K." I'm like,
Yeah.
You're already doing that already.
Yeah,
you
wear a
walk
pedometer.
around. Yeah, you walk around Epcot. You're already doing 3 miles.
Yep,
like,
Death March. It's true. So, that's the one complaint I hear about Pop Century and some of the All Stars is that you can be put way out from the lobby. But I agree with you. And to make it easier, there's always ample parking by your building.
Yes.
A lot of these larger hotels like Pop Century have more than one pool.
Yes.
So it's not like you have to walk back to the main pool.
No, and but my only complaint that I have for this is if you are going and it's during a school year, you may end up, especially if they have like cheerleading competitions or
Yeah, careful of those.
yeah, band competition. We went and we stayed at, I think it was the movies that we were at, and I was kept awake until about 3 o'clock in the morning because of the cheerleaders, and I was not a happy person. In fact, when
They
we
were not
moved,
cheerleading.
no, they were not.
They were
I've
not
never-
making you happy as
I've-
cheerleaders should be
you know,
doing.
honestly, I've never called and complained to front desk before, but I called and I was like, "You gotta." And of course, I was 6 months pregnant at the time too, so any sleep that I could get, and like mother's hearing was already starting to take an effect.
Your
It was
spidey
like,
sense.
you could hear everything, and I'm like, like a child sneezing from a mile
Were
away.
they rehearsing or they were just being raucous?
No, they were just being very raucous.
Okay.
So to the point where we checked in at the Animal Kingdom the next day, and I'm like, I looked right at the lady at the front desk, and I was like, "Are there cheerleaders here?" She was like, "There's just a few." I'm like,
No. But
No,
there's,
you don't.
there's a rhino and a giraffe out there, and every night they duke it out over their space. Sorry.
It's the cheerleaders like, yeah. So just if you don't mind noise and if you don't mind a bunch of kids, then I definitely
Yeah.
go for the.
And if you do mind noise and a bunch of kids, maybe Disney is not the best place for you to vacation.
well, that's true. But there are places that I think are less child.
Yeah, definitely.
Populated by children.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe we'll even do an episode on
For adults.
Yes, because we went as adults before the little girls came
Yes.
along. So it is possible, and it's actually quite nice. Not quite nice because I love going to Disney with my child and seeing her see all these things for the
Oh, but
first
let me
time.
tell you, I do dream of the days back in the day. Like, it was so much nicer not to carry all this stuff.
That's true.
And to go get a drink. I really wanted to go to Trader Sam's, and I still have yet to do that because of.
we went. Ginny was asleep, so
That's what I got to do. I got to knock her out.
well, we did not. Well, we just let Disney knock her out.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
push her around in a stroller, and then she rides and gets her fill, and then out she goes. One Hall of Presidents, and she was down for the
there you
count.
go.
Yeah. So my favorite moderate resort, hands down, Fort Wilderness. I think it's the ultimate place where, before DVC existed, if you were going as a family reunion, which we did quite a bit, we have cousins all over the country, and Disney was the gathering place, and you needed to fit. So it might say that 8 is the maximum occupancy, but we could easily fit 15, 16.
It's hard though with the magic bands now.
It is, yeah. But back in the 80s, back in the day,
Yeah, you could-
rent the golf carts,
Yes.
which you would hang off like Reese's Monkeys.
Yes, and then you decorate them. That's my favorite thing to see
Yes.
now. Is these people, especially around the Christmas time, starting around Thanksgiving, people move in to Fort Wilderness.
Yeah. Or
And
they decorate the rooms.
Yes,
People put up trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
We saw one guy, he comes in every year and rents out the spot next to him. He gets 2 adjoining spaces and he puts up Christmas decorations and that. So it's you walk
that's
through.
cool.
Yeah. And they use Disney electricity and do all that, and that's how they spend their Christmas.
It's
It's like a little mini Osborne lights.
which this is the last year to see the Osborne
Aw,
spectacle.
another moment of silence.
And I know, and to get snowed on or
Yeah.
soaped on would be
Yeah.
more appropriate.
But you can do that at the Mickey's Christmas party.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. And if you go to the Frozen Summer Fun, they make Elsa makes it snow on you. Yeah, I would be disappointed if she didn't make it snow on me, frankly. My mother-in-law brings lights when we go for New Year's. We go to New Year's every year. That's our family thing, and she brings a strand of lights to put on the
And that's going to be your
balcony.
next trip, correct?
That is my next trip.
And I will be there the week after doing the marathon weekend.
Oh, so I'll be there eating food, gaining weight, and
Yes.
you'll be there running it off.
I don't know
We should
if
correlate
running.
that.
I'd probably be walking it off. I mean, it is 26 miles, 0.2
Oh,
miles.
this is
yes.
it. Wait, how long is this? What?
26.2 miles.
That's those car stickers that say 26.2.
Yeah, that's-
See, you can definitely tell I'm not a runner.
No.
So I'm like 26 what's? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's not a mile marker either.
Oh.
It's not like Isla Morada down
I'm
in
like,
there.
oh, what's that? Right, and then there's a larger number. They go up in increments,
Yes.
I'd imagine, because
Yes.
I've seen some that
There's the 48 point. Oh, what is that?
Why don't you just round it up when you're running
Well,
that far?
because that 1/10 of a mile is very important. What is the
A tenth of a mile and I max out.
48.6? Thank you. We have our lovely
official,
assistant.
our official Run Disney consultant / babysitter.
48.6, which is the doping. Well, but like I said, we'll talk more about that stuff.
And maybe you'll get me to do a run walk.
I love that.
My elementary and high school phys ed teachers were not capable of making me do it. So if you can, it'll be a
Nothing
miracle
will
worker.
get you more motivated to run anything than a churro.
I'm from Hialeah. I don't need to run to get a churro. Oh yeah,
The
get a churro.
ability to run and ride a roller coaster and then to cross a finish line with a margarita in hand.
Really? That's
Yeah.
it? That's
Yeah.
So wait, the roller coaster is part of the run?
Yeah, the marathon you get to run they open up last year they had
Oh,
the Diamond
but
Mine.
not on the track. That's
No,
unsafe.
no,
Okay.
no, no, no.
Well, I don't know. Again, not a runner, so the whole run world is like blocked to me.
No, they have like
I'm one of the people that has quote unquote bad joints.
Oh.
So my workout is spinning, elliptical, anything that's non-impact.
Well, I'm a proud supporter of the Jeff Galloway run walk method. He's the official consultant for the Run Disney. So
Okay.
we
Is
will
it mostly
definitely-
walk? Because I'll do it if it's
No,
mostly
yeah,
walk.
yeah. As
Okay.
long as you can keep a 16-minute pace,
What am I supposed
like
to do
a
in 16 minutes?
16-minute, a mile,
Oh,
16 minutes.
according to my Fitbit, no. I'm like 16 watts. What does that mean? After 16 minutes, someone comes out and beats me.
No,
Okay.
no, this is Disney. Well, they just put you on a sad
Mickey
parade
comes
bus.
out and beats me. No, they make me stand in line for 180 minutes for Toy Story Mania.
Oh, no, yes. We were talking about resorts. Sorry.
Yes,
we kinda
resorts.
sidelined,
Back
yes.
onto our
So you were
our
talking
list.
about Fort Wilderness.
Yes, and my favorite deluxe resort. Ooh, it's a toss-up. I was fortunate enough, believe it or not, this happened. You can Google it. Opening weekend of the Grand Floridian, it was open to Florida residents only, and they had like a $79 a night.
That's amazing.
which
Now, of
was-
course, this was in 88, so inflation
Yeah.
has happened.
Oh,
I think it
yes.
was 80.
Yeah. I'm about 8 years old in the pictures.
Yeah.
The experience of the Victorian environment, the atrium pianist is magnificent. But I will say my favorite deluxe resort, and we are DVC members at Bay Lake, which is at the Contemporary. Yeah.
Which is where I used to stay. I have stayed, but they tore that
demoed
down.
it
Yeah.
to build my
Yes,
DVC.
yours.
Oh, well, I'm sorry for your loss.
It's okay, thanks.
I have to say that we did.
I have my memories.
Yeah. Any building that a monorail goes through is pretty cool. For the Contemporary, it's we did splurge when my husband and I, when we were still just dating. Sorry, Mom. We splurged and we stayed together in the room. Scandal. And again, we pooled our money and we got a tower room with a Magic Kingdom view for one night.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then you moved over to another hotel.
No, we just went up. We
Just
went up
the
for one night. But now with DVC, and we'll do a DVC episode where I'll explain this in greater detail.
Because I have been interested about DVC, and of course I
Yeah.
got sort of accosted by a lady at the Grand California one day about it.
They're a little they can be intense, but the little trip, the van ride tour that
Mm-hmm.
they give is worth it, and they always have a free item at the end of it.
Okay.
So if you can stand the people trying to give you a timeshare.
It's not going to be like a South Park episode, right, with the timeshare, where they're like...
Well, no, it's a little bit like that. I won't lie. They also don't tell you it's like 2 hours of this tour, and then they sit you back down, and it's like going to the car dealership. But
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a prize at the end.
Ooh, fast passes!
It's actually the Uber Fast Pass that has, and I don't think they print them this way anymore, but you would wear it around your neck and would have a tag for each ride.
Oh, those are those people that I see going
Those are those
through.
people, yeah.
Like,
so
how do they get those?
You have to sit
Disney
through,
Vacation Club.
but you do have to commit to like a 3-hour tour
Oh.
of the DVC, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I recommend it, and we'll do a whole thing on DVC. It's really changed the way we vacation because we stay at the Contemporary quite a bit, and that's something that we might not have been able to afford otherwise at $300 plus a night.
Right.
What is since we've been talking about different parks? What's your
Well,
favorite?
I haven't talked.
Oh, you haven't done. I've totally skipped her. It's the Disney twins, not just the Marianne show.
No, it's okay. Well, I talked about the value because I agreed with you,
You
on
did,
Pop Century.
Pop Century.
My favorite moderate though is Port Orleans, Riverside, which used to be Dixie Landings. I absolutely
That
love
dates
it. Yes, it does, and I absolutely love those two resorts, both of them, French Quarter and this is probably the reason why I won't do DVC because that's where we like to stay. Like that, if I could pick a hotel, that would be it. They also have the princess rooms, which are amazing.
At Riverside.
At Riverside, and they have the back. I don't know if you've heard in Disneyland that they have like the headboards light up with fireworks and stuff, and they play music. Well, this one kind of lights up too, but it's like a view of the Tiana's Bayou. And it's
The headboard lights
the
up.
headboard, and it's got
Do you have to put
fireworks
like
that go off.
25 cents
No,
into
it's
it?
just a little
Okay.
button that you push. And I honestly, like, our daughter fell asleep the first night, and I was the one laying in bed playing with the fireworks, just laying and watching it in the mirror. And it was.
And what was
it
your
really
husband
good.
doing?
He was just laughing at me.
Oh, okay.
It's like, seriously, you're gonna? I'm like, ah.
That's kind of funny.
I'll
that
have to show
Disney
you
did
pictures.
A decorated headboard.
It's very cool, and it's very neat. But I just love the overall ambiance of the hotel, the resorts, both of them, and they're so close together that you can walk in between the two. Amazing jogging trail. So if you get up in the morning and you don't feel like you've exercised enough, you can get up and go. Plus,
if you're psychotic, in other words.
yes, exactly. But they have entertainment. There's a little. I mean, they've got like this lounge with this piano guy named Bob, who's been there for.
Is it all Bob? Is it like every guy that goes has to be named Bob?
No. The
Okay.
piano. The guy who does the piano playing. It's almost like jelly rolls.
Yeah.
At the boardwalk, but it's just him, and his name is Bob, and. But it's free, and
Bob
it's
the
child
piano
free.
man,
Yeah,
I
he
like
is.
that.
Yeah, and he's got a CD. We bought it, and
Oh, there you go.
he's been there for years. Because he was there before we got married, and they let him go for a little bit after 9/11 when they kind of downsized a lot of the entertainment stuff. And then, but yeah, so
But
that's
you
my
stayed
favorite
there because you got married at Disney. You said you
Yes.
stayed. That was the hotel you stayed at for your
before
wedding.
we got married. Yeah,
Okay.
yep. The few days leading
So
up
it's
to
like
the.
a special place.
Yeah, I do
that's,
like it.
That's very nice.
And our favorite deluxe hotel, I don't know. I'm kind of torn because we got married at the yacht club, but I do love the boardwalk. That whole Crescent Lake area, I do like. So
Yeah, I have a little soft spot in my heart for Saratoga Springs only because it's all horse racing theme. And my family is in horse racing, so I can't get enough of that. But the bus situation, if I can stay at one of the other resorts, I usually do.
see, and that's why I prefer to stay at Epcot because you can walk to Epcot, you can boat to Epcot, you can boat to Hollywood Studios, you can
Yeah.
walk to Hollywood Studios. The only one that you really have to get a bus to is the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, it's very
Which can be
convenient.
kind of tricky because if they're running on the rotation of going to all three resorts on one bus, that gets kind of.
Yeah, they change
Yeah.
that up depending on the crowds.
Yeah.
Of all those parks, what's your favorite one to visit?
It's so interesting. Now you asked me this. I was thinking.
Well,
about
it's
this
also
other-
the next question
Oh,
on our
it
little
is.
list.
I don't know. Like when I was a teenager, I loved going to Hollywood Studios, MGM, because you could go and do movie things. As I am an actor. That was my.
Do you like
my
to go
only
to the
experience.
Great Movie Ride and criticize the bad acting that gets done there? Because I've had some doozies.
As a kid though, that was like I wanted to.
They
do
were better
that.
when we
Yeah,
were kids.
Yeah.
You had to. That was actually of the Disney ride auditioning. Like that
Yeah.
and Jungle Cruise were the apex of
Yes.
performance. And now
It's-
they phone it in. Really,
Yeah.
they're not so. That needs an
Yeah.
update. Disney, update the ride, please.
Yes.
Um,
So that was my thing, and then 20s I think it became Epcot because then you were like, oh, the Food and Wine Festival started. So yeah, it's been 20 years since. Tell you how old I am.
20 years ago.
But now I think with my daughter, I think it's the Magic Kingdom. I think that's the one that we always go to.
Yeah, definitely Magic Kingdom. But my favorite and my husband's favorite is Epcot. And now I think we've gotten our daughter sufficiently hooked on Figment that Epcot is also her. And she talks about the big ball, which we put in context, of course. But yeah, I'm a nerd from way back. I went to a foreign language school growing up, so cultural awareness and then science nerdy kind of stuff with Future World I've always loved. So Epcot, I would say, is my favorite.
The only thing I can get Ainsley to go there for is because her magic band, her Flower and Garden magic band, is Ilsa, and Anna, and it lights up like a flower. That's the
You
only
showed
reason
me
why.
that.
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
only reason why she wants to go there. And then of course, the past Food and Wine Festival had the Ratatouille hide and squeak
Oh, that
thing,
was, yeah.
and she loved that. Yeah. So,
Oh.
but that's the only reason why she wants to go.
I love it. It's full of nerdies. Get her hooked on Figment. Two tiny wings.
I've tried.
Eyes big and yellow.
I've tried.
Um,
It's sad because she's like, no.
Yeah, the problem with getting your kids hooked on certain Disney things when they fixate on them, like my daughter is fixated on Figment. First off, Figment's a little dated, so it's hard to find Figment merchandise outside of the gift shop for that ride. And you can be walking around the grocery store, and she's loud as can be, top of her lungs, 2 tiny wings, eyes big and yellow.
All right, so we actually, after doing, this is post-production, by the way.
Yes, we're going to take a little bit of a break because we realized that, well, we could go on talking about Disney forever.
Yes.
That's probably why we're doing a podcast.
Yes. So, and the idea for us when we were talking was that we really wanted to keep these kind of short, not so
Yes.
you invest your whole lifetime to us. So,
Although we do appreciate loyal subjects, so thanks for
Absolutely.
sticking with us.
that's one of our loyal
That is
subjects.
one of our loyal subjects. So,
Say hi, Ainsley.
Hi, my name is Ainsley, and we're going to do a funny show about
we train them young around here. So be sure to look through and join us for part 2 of our first episode podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, see you next time.
Yep, bye.
You've been listening to the Disney Twin Podcast. All show notes and information are available at our blog, thedisneytwins.wordpress.com. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us next week for our next episode.
Imagination, imagination. A dream can be a dream come true.